About a week ago, the creators of Cuphead, Studio MDHR, announced that they will be featuring the game's DLC in the August issue of Edge magazine, which is a UK-based video game magazine published by FuturePick, and yes, this was the first time I had heard about it, which is why I'm covering this now rather than before. Since then, screenshots of the magazine have been leaked by, I believe, fans on Twitter, while Studio MDHR themselves have posted the cover of the magazine to Twitter, which gives us a new look at some of the bosses and enemies that will be coming to the DLC in 2 weeks. In this video, I'll be going over some of the new content that has been shown throughout the couple of screenshots that have been posted to Twitter, and also going over some new content revealed on the cover of the magazine and some theories as to how they will be part of the game. Now with the intro out of the way, let's get to the rundown. First things first, let's take a look at the cover of the magazine. From the first impressions of the image, we can already tell there have been major changes to what we expected to be within the game. What instantly caught my eye when I saw the image for the first time was the right side of the image, with a whole bunch of new characters added. The only thing I can think of is either they're somehow bringing back running guns, which I don't think will happen since they basically confirmed that to be the case, but what I also think is that they might be bringing back some of the older game modes that were removed from the original game. I'll get into that later why I think that might be the case, but now let's dissect the rest of the image. When we first open up the image, we are greeted in the middle of the page with the trio of cups, which is typical for these kind of magazines in general, so there's not much special there. But if we look to the left of the page, we see the Ice Wizard. Yes, I got your comments, it's not a witch, it is indeed a wizard. And also to clear up as well, the Cuphead show will be revealed or released on the 19th of August. I got those comments too, I'm sorry. But back to what I was saying, we see the Ice Wizard and Sheriff Winchester, which are two of the boss fights in the game as we've covered before on the channel. But if you look closely behind them way in the distance, you can see a castle in the sky. That, my friends, is where I'm assuming the night boss fight is going to be held. But we'll go over that along with the right side of the page when we get to the other screenshots of the magazine right now, since this is only the cover of the magazine. The next two pictures that we'll be going over are from within the magazine, and it goes over some gameplay and mechanic aspects of the bearded giant boss fight, while also some secrets that are within the game itself. But before we get into that, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like the video if you haven't already. You guys have been showing me a large amount of support as of recent, and I just want to take this time to thank you guys once again, and I'm proud to say that we are almost at 500 subscribers thanks to you guys. I would not be in this position if it wasn't for you guys. I wouldn't be, making these videos if it wasn't for you guys just supporting me as of recent. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys for all the support, all the comments. I read every single comment. I may not heart them or whatever, respond, but I see them. It's just a lot recently, it's exciting. But yeah, that's all for that. Now let's get to reading and break this down bit by bit so you guys fully understand what's coming for the DLC. And once again, thank you guys so much for the support. Furthermore, it would surely be remiss of us to talk about the bearded giant Hune from Rock with disturbing dietary habits, who calls for assistance from a flock of water birds as an army of spiked-hatted gnomes prevents you from spending too long on the ground. This is a reference to part of the gameplay trailer that was revealed last year in December, where we see this exact scenario play out. As we see here, the giant calls on a flock of water birds that fly across the screen, and then the gnomes on the ground pop out to stop us from spending too long down there. This really reminds me of the Pepe the Clown boss fight, where you're always cautious of the roller coaster as it rides throughout the screen while also paying attention to what Beppe is throwing at you. As a particularly extreme shaving technique leads to a sequence in which the gaming nods become more self-referential, shifting from Mega Man and Kirby to a show involving glove puppets of two existing Cuphead bosses. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So in the picture shown on screen, this is a different phase of the fight that I would assume to be the final phase, since at this point the giant looks very beat up and not as well kept as he was in the first phase. It reminds me very much of Wally Warbles' final phase, where he basically is on his deathbed once we see him in the final phase, which is also why I believe this to be the final phase of the fight. But as was said in the text I just read, we see that he is also holding two glove puppets of two existing Cuphead bosses that, as was stated, I believe these two bosses be part of the castle in the sky in the cover of the magazine. The reason why I think this is because of the next section of text on the right on the same page. Cuphead gets busier for a lot longer than 3 or 4 hours it takes to reach the end. There's a chess-themed gauntlet that doubles the number of bosses and acts as the most exacting test of your parrying skill. Obviously the two puppets are made to resemble King Dice and the Devil, but they're dressed up in a king and jester costume, which I can only assume to be part of the gauntlet. The only connection I have is the fact that they are portrayed in a medieval times light, where the devil is a king and the jester is King Dice. It might not be them specifically in that castle, but it could potentially be a hint for the final fight against them both. This is just a really stretched out theory that could be totally wrong, and this could be just a joke that the devs put in, but it's more fun like this. Am I right or am I wrong? One thing that I found really interesting with this entire article is what I'm about to read right now, plus some new information that I will reveal in a moment. But this completely throws my initial statement that there were only 5 bosses on this isle, but let me read this first and then I'll explain. There is a riddle on the world map that yields one more encounter, itself a puzzle of sorts. Beat this and the hidden power of the final charm is revealed. Equip it and the test that awaits is one that will have the devoted cracking the knuckles and preparing themselves for Cuphead's greatest challenge to date. So initially I thought about the whole chess gauntlet thing as a King Dice sort of boss fight where you have to go through a bunch of mini bosses to then get to the King Dice boss fight. But since this is a chess themed gauntlet, and initially thought of it as one boss, as I assumed the devs also thought, but this threw me right off the rails when I read it for the first time. So I kept on reading, and this is what came up on the last screenshot that was leaked. The 4th island has a few new NPCs to chat to, and at least one hidden route, but the main secret lies in the graveyard, beyond a 3-part puzzles to which you're given a few hints. We eventually brute force the solution. So there's a big secret that lies in the graveyard that has been shown throughout many different videos of people showing gameplay of walking around the isle when it was initially shown by Studio MDHR. As according to this article, it says that the secret unveils, quote, Cuphead's greatest challenge yet. And not only this, but if you go on Steam right now and check the achievement section of Cuphead, you can see that the achievements have indeed been updated, and it confirms that there will be at least 10 boss fights within the DLC, because one of the achievements is to defeat 10 bosses with Miss Chalice. Also, something very strange to me is this achievement in particular is the Checkmate achievement, where it says to defeat all the King of Games champions. And that is very interesting, and that leads the question to who is the King of Games? Has the King Dice come back to try and get us back from beating him in the first gauntlet? Or has the devil somehow swindled his way back for another face-off with the cups? Or is it someone, an ally in particular, that we would never see coming? We don't have those answers as of now, but we will very soon. And with exactly 2 weeks left until the DLC comes out, all we have to do is wait and see how it plays out. Oh, and before I forget, this is the entirety of the final page that was leaked. We see Miss Chalice with the 3rd super art, which takes some of the statues from Rugged Ridge and summons them. She is the legendary Chalice after all. Also, I don't know if anyone will recognize this, but they brought back the light show boss that was part of the unused bosses in the original game. And I know what y'all are thinking, what about the enemies shown at the beginning of the video that are on the cover of the magazine? Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. I believe they'll be bringing back some of their old game modes and having these guys as the enemies in the modes. One that I can think of is the Coin Op Bop mode. That was a track in the Cuphead official soundtrack but was never seen in the actual game. It was said to be a scrap game mode, but it may make an appearance in the DLC as you're able to collect coins, it seems. And what other way to collect coins than from a level called Coin Op Bop? And with that, we have reached the end of the video. This is all that has been released about the magazine so far. Well, technically leaked, but the magazine did release as of today. I hope you all enjoy reading it because from the looks of it, they put a lot of stuff into the magazine, and it's also Studio MDHR, so we can only imagine what's in it. Let me know in the comments if you guys are getting it, and let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. I'm so excited to read all of your comments. Please leave them down below. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video if you did. As always, at the end of every video, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. If you guys are already having a good day, I hope your day gets better. And as always, I'll see you all in my next video. Peace, love, goodbye from me. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all next time.